So it's been officially 1 week into Solstice 2025, and we have the question of all questions. Should you spend what little remaining time you have with this event grinding for any of the 3 guns that were imported to this year of content? We have Festival Flight, Yeartide Apex, and Fortunate Star. And of these 3 weapons, are any of them actually worth it? So where we're going to start is, remember, these, if you grind long enough and hard enough, you can get 3 perks in each column. If you get a tier 5, you are essentially getting half rounded down of all of the perks available to this weapon in each of your columns, as long as you get it with the tier 5. So it shouldn't theoretically be very hard to get the rolls that you want. Starting off with Festival Flight, we have officially a new area denial frame that is Strand. Been waiting for that for quite a while, and with that, there's only one real choice here for perk column 4. Attrition orbs. Attrition orbs. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, you know, they nerfed attrition orbs. Kinda. They tuned it a little bit. You get less orbs, generally speaking, with attrition orbs than you do without it. I mean, you're not getting any. You're not getting any without it. But you hit so frequently with a area denial frame grenade launcher that practically speaking, you're not noticing the lack of orbs. Now, orbs really aren't hard to generate in the meta currently, so this is just one of those things like, hey, I might as well pick it up if I can. But in perk column 3, Slice. I know, Slice. Slice one of those ones where I normally only like it on one type of weapon, that being high impact, that being high impact auto rifles and pulse rifles. But having Slice on a grenade launcher like this, listen, if you can't find a way to sever the enemy you're shooting, and you actually need the effect of Slice to, you know, hit an enemy, hit a mini boss, you're right. If you're for some reason taking this into a high level content where the enemy is going to be alive for more than 10 seconds, this might not be a bad switch weapon to use. But besides this, besides the obvious perks, Slice and attrition orbs, what else should you be doing? Because think of it, you got 3 more in each column. So in column 3, there are definitely a couple of interesting options, that being Envious Arsenal, and you also have access to Demolitionist. Envious Arsenal for rotations, because this thing does come with Elemental Honing. You can have a rotation grenade launcher, that being Envious Arsenal, Elemental Honing, shoot some stuff, rotate. The extra damage you're going to be getting from Elemental Honing may not be the best. It could still be better to go for an Envious Arsenal / Attrition Orbs, but still, what I would be going for in perk column 3, if I can get it, I'd be getting Slice, Envious Arsenal, and Demolitionist. And in perk column 4, I would be getting Attrition Orbs, Elemental Honing, and then I wouldn't care if any of these other 4 perks came, because they pretty much don't matter for a grenade launcher. I mean, maybe the extra handling from Binary Orbit, tiny bit of extra damage via Frenzy, One for All, and Hatchling, but Elemental Honing more often than not, more often than not, is going to be getting a significant increase over something like One for All or Frenzy. So that's just how I feel. And then honestly, just pick. I mean, with the actual magazines, you're going to be getting 2 of these, so it's a 50-50 chance you're going to get what you want. High velocity rounds, Slice, Attrition Orbs, Enhance, Quick Launch. I'd be perfectly okay with that. I don't see this weapon having much use outside of this. Now, I'm not going to do Yeartide Apex yet. I'm going to go into Fortunate Star. Fortunate Star is a bow. It's a funny bow, and it comes with a funny roll. Archer's Tempo, Archer's Gambit. These 2 weapons do the same thing. These 2 perks do the same thing, except they are going to be in different columns. And if you're using this, you're pretty much just using it for Archer's Gambit and Archer's Tempo. This is a phenomenal bow. Otherwise, if you actually want a real roll on this thing to do something else with, you can always go for the reliable repulsor brace destabilizing rounds. There's nothing wrong with that. Demoralize, I could see some use for Demoralize and impromptu ammunition, since bows are pretty good at generating ammo. So yeah, impromptu ammunition and Demoralize could be good, but I would say the best roll period is going to be your Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit, because I believe it's currently the only bow in the game that comes with both of them on it right now. I could be wrong considering that they just added like 4 new bows, but I'm pretty sure this is the only bow that comes with Archer's Gambit and Archer's Tempo. But yeah, if I could choose 3 perks from column 4, I would choose the Stabilizing Rounds, Archer's Gambit, and Demoralize. And if I could choose 3 from perk column 3, I would choose Impromptu Ammunition, Repulsor Brace, and Archer's Tempo. I really don't see any reason to be using any of the other perks. This is one of those where, you know, you can go, they kind of went, I mean, maybe 4 for 7. If you're looking at Successful Warm-Up is just a Walmart version of Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit. So, I mean, considering that it only procs on final blows and Successful Warm-Up, the duration of the buff does stack. So, I mean, no, that is one thing to consider. However, just being able to get the instant draw speed of Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit, I feel is going to be the best. Besides that, maximize handling, pick whatever you want. I honestly couldn't tell you enough about bows to be able to tell you which of these are actually good. Compact arrow shaft, maybe. I know I would prioritize. I'd prioritize handling, elastic string if you can hit your shots, maybe. I don't know. I'll make a video on it if I get the roll I want. Now, finally, Yeartide Apex, the one everybody and their mother has been fiending over. Now, with Yeartide Apex, it has a lot of good rolls there. You pretty much cannot go wrong. You pretty much cannot go wrong with this thing. This is like probably one of the better guns that's been released in quite a long time. So, what would you want to go for? Well, I'm actually going to start with perk column 1 and 2 because you can get it. Enhanced Ricochet Rounds. Ricochet Rounds is pretty much a no-brainer on all SMGs nowadays. You're not getting nearly as much benefit from any. You're pretty much not getting any benefit from anything else. Ricochet Rounds is the king of all SMG and auto rifle perks. So much utility, so much value. When they hit, and when they don't hit, you do get a lot of nice stats from it. And because we're now getting enhanced barrels on this thing. Enhanced Fluted Barrel. 16 handling. Additional stability is nice. You also can't go wrong with something like Corkscrew Rifling, except you have a little bit less. Except you can have a little bit less handling. I would say you probably want something like Corkscrew Rifling if you're taking this thing into Crucible. It's not the best in Crucible, but it's still usable. Corkscrew Rifling in Crucible, and I'd pretty much be saying Fluted Barrel and everything else just for the additional handling. And obviously, with this, you would want you'd want a ranged masterwork, a range or a handling masterwork. I prefer ranged masterwork on a SMG like this, considering that it is a lightweight, so it does have the increased handling. So having the handling masterwork maxes it out with more stats than you need. But besides that, perk columns 3 and 4, like I said, you pretty much can't go wrong with this thing. The role that I would say is generally the best for most PvE activities is going to be Heel Clip and Chaos Reshaped. Now, Chaos Reshaped, this is the first time it's appeared on a weapon outside of the Salvation's Edge raid, so that is very, very nice. It's one of the better damage / survivability perks, 35% increased damage, and you're getting a periodic 35 burst of healing as long as you're in combat for long enough. This is a very good perk combination here. Chaos Reshaped is likely the best of the perk column 4 of the 6 of them. You also can't go wrong with Incandescent, either having Incandescent and Heel Clip. Very, very powerful. Incandescent is a very powerful perk, and besides that, the other perks are... Yeah, it's basically your choice about whether you want to take Burning Ambition, Harmony, or Target Lock. This thing is technically a Texamechanical weapon, even though it has the sounds of a Viced weapon. Don't know why they chose to do it that way. But Harmony isn't bad. I was using this with Harmony for a little bit. The increased damage for Harmony, it's nice. It's nice, you know, it's nice getting a kill with the special weapon and then switching over to, switching over real quick, but Chaos Reshape is still, it is still the better of the damage perks. And besides that, Target Lock is a shell of its former self. I really don't see the value in it. It has this thing is a 40 magazine. By the time if you are actually using this in Crucible, by the time you get to the end of your magazine, this thing, I do not believe, procs target lock before you are actually able to kill the opponent, unless you're able to get the magazine size down to 32, which I don't think is something that you can do. And besides that, you have access to Burning Ambition. I really don't rate Burning Ambition. You know, comprehensive testing hasn't been done yet. It's just more to the ignitions of a solar build, but I really do think that Incandescent and the enhanced version of Incandescent just does it better. But Burning Ambition definitely is interesting. The only downside is the enemies already have to be scorched in the first place, whereas Incandescent scorches enemies just by killing them. That's enough about perk column 4. Perk column 3. All of them are good. All of them are good. Besides one. I don't rate Transcendent Moment. Yeah, I really just don't rate Transcendent Moment, so I would avoid this at any and all costs, but I already said that I think that Heal Clip is the best perk column 3, but if you're playing Crucible, Heal Clip maybe not be your cup of tea. Lone Wolf was nerfed. Lone Wolf was nerfed a little bit, even though it does give you additional stats, just period. Now, but, you know, Lone Wolf was gutted a tiny bit, so it's no longer, you know, best in slot. You can go for Feeding Frenzy, you can go for Demolitionist, really, your cup of tea. Recycled Energy as well, Ability Energy. It's not tough to go by, but I can see some use for using Recycled Energy and something like Harmony. Crucible Harmony is an easy damage perk to activate with, you know, special weapon. Switch over to your Yeartide Apex and then just use your Harmony. So, besides that, is it actually worth farming for Festival Flight, Yeartide Apex, and Fortunate Star? Yes. Yes, a resounding yes. If you do not take the time to farm out at least one of the following Yeartide Apex, Festival Flight, or Fortunate Star with Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit, very specific to the bow, I think you're kind of throwing. The loot is so plentiful in the Solstice, and all of the weapons are very good. It's so easy to get rolls. I would farm this 24 hours a day if I could. I've been farming a very long time. I've gotten the ideal roll on my Yeartide Apex, my tier 5 with all the good perks that I want with the shiny hull foil. I have not gotten a Fortunate Star with Archer's Tempo and Archer's Gambit, but it is only a matter of time, and I've already gotten my Festival Flight, that being with the Slice and the Attrition Orb. So I'm nearly done with the Solstice. So, besides that, I want to thank each and every single one of you for listening to this video. If you made it to the end, tell me which of the weapons you want, which weapons you think is good. What do you actually think the best is? If you actually have gotten the Fortunate Star with the Archer's Tempo and the Archer's Gambit, let me know what you think about it. I am very excited to be able to actually try this, get a build with it, because it should be as good as I think it is. Now, have a great day. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. Goodbye.